All right. So we've talked about the getting started and our lull that we hit, which I don't know if that lull was soon, early, late. Do you think? I mean, if everyone hits a lull, if it's common, I don't know. I'm curious as to. I mean, in my mind, it's like you have your initial excitement, and when that wears off and life gets in the way, then it goes down. And we talked about that, kind of keep driving it forward, which is what we're going into now, like the coming back up. And it does feel like a restart in some ways. I think it's just renew energy. So, like,
I think it is renewed energy, and I think some of I was just kind of thinking about it, and a lot of so much what we did before was like back end, if you will, like
mhm,
data into a database.
right. Yeah.
And like there's nothing visible and exciting to excite you because the database table's not exciting,
Right.
right?
No, absolutely.
And so like for at least for my own part, like we were working on some of those small back end jobs and it was we grueling. And I remember at some point that I kind of had started working on some UI stuff. And as soon as I saw some of the data kind of come to life, it sparked excitement in me.
Yeah, okay.
Was
So,
that
no, when it was interesting, I had this epiphany that um, we didn't have any servers for a while.
we didn't? No.
I can't recall if we were just running locally or if we had anything anywhere. I feel like we may have dropped one machine, may able to drop one server in Liberty,
Yeah.
just for like one.
It was one and two. It was a ham.
So maybe we were able to run it that, but I thought the biggest jump in the restart was setting a rack.
Yes.
Do you remember that? Sure.
Yeah. No, now that you're bringing that up, I think that's right because we got the raft. We met out there in Liberty.
Yeah.
We got some beers.
Yes, yeah, there's plenty of beer. I had this epiphany too. Do you remember that a part of us doing that is we ran a new 30 amp circuit to that building because it didn't have enough power for us? So while I think you were inside, like doing set of rack, I was outside running conduit
Yeah, that's right.
to the breakers to put in a new 30 amp breaker to run in to the interior.
Yeah, for the rack.
And honestly, of all the stuff we bought that day, the equipment for the electrical might have been the most expensive because we got the obviously the 10 gauge wire,
Mhm.
and we ran a 30 amp circuit, put in the 30 amp breaker, a new 30 locking plug. We got an APC to plug into the
Yeah.
bottom of it,
Yeah.
and I do remember Dwayne showing up. And I thought he was going to pick up some servers, and he ended up buying like 10
Into buying
Dell servers that we
old
dropped in the
decommissioned.
yeah, they were second, third, fourth hand servers. It doesn't matter what they were.
No, great.
Yeah, we dropped hard. Like we went from like having maybe a server kind of off in the corner to having a rack. That took us forever. That was a long night, but it was so much fun to do.
That was a lot.
Um, yeah, we ran our own circuit.
Did we do it? Was it 2 days? Because I know one part of the day, the boys were.
Well, we came back for that.
Came back. Was that when we
Yeah,
came back?
we
Okay.
came back to that one, I will not name any names, but I am 90% certain. So an ISP was run out of this place,
Yeah.
and an individual shows up and says our stuff is down. And I think Tyler, my son, might have flipped a switch on a power strip. Now, I don't blame him because this power strip was just sitting attached to one of the telecom racks.
Wait, how did I never know that was with this? I don't remember this. I
Yeah,
mean, I remember, yeah, the incident, but I don't know that I remember the power trip part.
yeah. I think it was never confirmed. And he
Oh.
goes, as I got to know the area better, because I went to the Liberty thing quite a few times. I didn't live that far from it.
Mm.
Um, I was definitely the closest of everyone to it. So if something went down, I was driving over there to do it, which did happen. But still, as I got to know where things are at, I think I learned that. Oh, that's what happened.
And then kept that little did it for yourself.
Yeah, until now, I'll still haven't heard about it. But that was so much fun. Like, and that's something that newer startups they don't get that kind of experience of building up an infrastructure. They don't get the experience of building a server in the living room. I did that too.
Yeah.
Um,
I remember I think I was sitting in Bulgaria and you like texted me. I ordered all of this server.
yeah,
We had like by pieces, not servers, like with memory and hard drives.
I remember that because I would get these like weird hairs and like want to go gung ho on. So even the MacBook Pro that I bought, like that was like $2,000. And again, I had a bunch of kids and made okay money, but still like $2,000. Like I was just like, I gotta buy this so that we can get going on this. And so I just go buy a laptop. And I remember I took a picture of Holly holding it and sent it to you too.
Yeah, like right.
So I was like, yeah, first machine, let's go. That order you're talking about, that was another hair. It was $10,000.
Okay, I wanted to say that, but I was like, I don't think nobody's that crazy. But
Yeah, I spent $10,000 to get those servers, and those were our database servers for years.
Yeah.
They might still be in our rack. I don't think they're used for much of anything.
No, it's been transitioned.
Yeah. Just I actually think it's been transitioned to nothing at the point. So the problem needs to just come out.
I think we turned it to a test database.
Right. No, but yeah, I spent that on that just because it was, I don't know. Anyway. And then I think there's probably one of a handful of tweets I can go back and find from my account where I tweeted my setup. I had all these server parts and everything in a glass of whiskey. And I was like, startup life.
Startup life.
Hashtag, yeah. And hashtag douchebag. No.
You're one and only tweet.
That's it.
Until more recent times, but
actually, yeah. No, it was so much fun though. Like that, I think that is true because we lulled down. Like that was renewed excitement.
Yeah, it was. That's something physical again. Kind of what I was thinking. Trying to figure out what drew us out of the lull, and that's another something physical. Let's say after staking the.
Well, that always did it to Dwayne too. Dwayne, like if it came to like equipment that we could drink beer and put together, Dwayne was there.
Oh, all don't worry.
Yeah. No, and we found out like you want Dwayne to come help with something, just say that there's equipment involved and we'll have beer. Dwayne's there. It's on. But no, that's the thing, again, it's so interesting to look back on it because again, Dwayne not really involved with things today, but without what he brought back then, that was
wouldn't have been possible. And
yeah. No,
nothing impossible. Yeah.
And so it's so cool. I was very appreciative of that. Obviously, things change and move, but that night at Liberty, it's like seared in my brain.
Yeah.
When we were there doing all that afternoon, night.
Yeah. And then the other one, I mean, but later, but obviously we outgrew it. So the second time in Liberty,
yeah, no, that was fun too. Yeah. And gosh, I guess, that's funny because when we put together the process of the events, we talk about going into Liberty and doing that. And then where we are today is actually where we moved from Liberty to today.
Yeah.
And so we've been there for quite some time now.
Yeah.
But we actually ran onto that data center Liberty for quite some time. And
when we were hurricanes?
Yeah, well, that's right. We
flooding.
Yeah, we actually, I mean, to that point, knock on wood, we never had a natural disaster affect our uptime whatsoever. And when you're a startup, you don't have this massive disaster recovery program. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not feasible. You're lucky to be able to get a bootstrap start.
Back then, and now, these caveat cloud tends to make it easy.
But easier, but that's not fun. Am I crazy?
But hold on, cut it.
This is another thing to note because we're sitting there talking about building servers and like most programmers don't build servers, firewalls, networks, or run electrical. So like, that is super unique that we were, and probably the only reason that we were able to get anywhere was because we could cover the entire gamut of technical tasks, at least.
Yeah.
Because if we had to have some engineer or, systems engineer design our systems or maintain our firewalls or, all of the infrastructure part, there's no chance.
There's no chance. There's a lot required for all of it. Which is, the cloud does make it easier because it's a lot of button click.
Yeah, and I agree. And it's worthwhile in some cases, although when you get into managing Kubernetes clusters and stuff, you might as well have a systems guy. Yeah, that's just a big ass these days. At least back then it was just running IIS.
Oh my gosh. That is true.
Yeah. You remember what, I know you do. You remember what we named our first servers?
Mm-hmm. We named them after the office.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Pam, Jim, Garbage, Michael Garbage. Garbage is my favorite. Garbage hung around for a long time. For those,
He wasn't there.
yeah, for those of you who don't know, Garbage is a cat. It's not actually the cat. What is it? The white name's the cat Garbage. It's the replacement cat. He gets killed with Angela's cat, right?
Gills into the cat, puts us in the freeze.
So Garbage is our cat.
Our naming scheme was after the office.
Right. So, and to get ahead of myself, we've now transitioned to a new naming scheme recently.
Yeah.
This is our third naming scheme that we went to, which is a total IPI thing, but only if you have your own servers, right? I guess.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was named after the resource.
Exactly. So this is so much more fun. We had Office, and then under Dwayne's suggestion, we went to Fish. He's a big fisherman, so why not? But Josh and I both were like, how do you spell halibut again? Not halibut. It was there's one of the names.
Yeah, I don't want
It's time to look it up. How do you spell that? Not halibut.
not Evan. There's about it. I went to IT.
Yeah. Josh just kind of gave up. Screw this. I can't remember what that is. We recently changed to Family Guy, which
We had done that previously, though, right? Didn't we do that at New Tech? Wasn't there a New Tech? Didn't we do Family Guy for a little while?
I don't know.
And then we went to Cars.
We went to Cars. I know Cars was the main one I remember doing.
I remember there being a Chris at New Tech.
I mean, there was a guy named Chris, but no, I do remember the Cars in New Tech. I'm trying. Yeah. Family Guy. Family Guy. I watched it just Cars.
Maybe I'm just thinking from you on that.
Yeah. I was watching Family Guy last night. Yep. I haven't watched it in forever. But anyway,
Anything.
Family Guy's hilarious. So, but the restart though, I really do think building out that infrastructure at the end of the day, like what total cost? I think those 10 servers Dwayne got
they were like resale rubbish machines that done an auction thing, right?
Yeah. And they were like $100 each or something. I think $100 total on that. And the rack too.
The rack too, which we got. I think that was like 200.
Yeah, and then the APC, the UPS that we had there, was another couple hundred.
I feel like he's stealing a total of $2,000 or something like that. It was like six in my head.
Yeah, and I think I think we were $2,000 about all in. I think the costs on the electrical stuff came into play too, but I think we were $2,000 all in, and but like that's crazy. For $2,000, you have an entire infrastructure with 10 servers. I mean, you're not world beaters, but
it turns out you don't need them because like server, as everybody knows now, commodity hardware or just fine.
That's exactly.
And that's right where that time was, right? Because before that wasn't really the case. And then you got to there and things had changed very little until you got to the reduced power because those were power hungry machines.
That's very true. That's very true. So it's so nice, again, to have the expertise to be able to build it, which we had built the data center at New York. And so and honestly, like you did Cisco in high school and stuff like that. So you knew all of that. I ran the Sonic walls and the network and did servers and active Windows networks and all those things like that with Active Directory.
And really just between all three of us, a good and broad experience and knowledge to be able to do knowledge helped.
Yeah, I can't name, not to pat ourselves on the back or anything, but I can't name 3 people who could do all that. I mean, just dude. So yeah, I'm gonna pat myself on the back, damn it. No, and so the infrastructure part was cool. And then we came on to the other day. You sent me an image of our first map.
Yeah, my first map. So I remember I sat down was Saturday, and my wife was playing like Roller Coaster Tycoon or something like that on her computer. And I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and play around with some of this data to like see what it looks like on a map. And we had done a lot of mapping at New Tech, but we hadn't done a whole lot of web mapping because we were doing like desktop software.
Well, and mapping changed too over those times.
We changed. Like Google comes around and Google, Google Maps, they JavaScript API back then, pretty new. And I remember I grabbed one of their samples and I just did like a little query and threw it on there. And I sent a picture, and like Google's sample was like a crime map, and that's what the sample was. And it had like default icons. But I sent John a picture, and it was a picture of the wealth spots, but it had guns and the little pins all around. It's like, that's cool. But why aren't there gun pictures? Those are all wolf spots. He's like, oh, okay, but why guns?
And this would be a thing that would continue to this day. He sends me something just like thrown out there and he just like puts a placeholder. And I'm like, why did you put that placeholder there? He's like, that's not the place. Exactly. We are showing whales on a map. Shut up. But no, that was, I mean,
Pulling me to that high state.
yeah, no shit. It is interesting though. That is great. You brought up the point. It's the visual aspect of seeing the growth and the movement.
Yeah.
Because it becomes like a snowball effect. Because well, great, we see these maps. We're starting to like visualize all this work that we've been putting in. Because we're years into this now, and with the lull, you know, during our lull, we did develop still a number of kind of data systems. And so you got to realize when you start from the ground up, we built out a data model. And we, at the time, I don't believe there was much in the way of standardized data models.
Yeah, this is where PPM came out. It would come out a little bit later, right?
Yeah. And even, I feel like there's one other that was, anyway, but no, I don't think anything.
Intergistics, I guess.
Yeah.
Intergistics was trying to consolidate them.
But, and so what we decided was like, okay, well, we'll just have an organic growth of the data model that matches what the public data has, because public data is not, and to this day, we do something similar because PPDM is more of an idealized worldview of like privatized data where you have all of these intricate aspects of the details, and public data just doesn't work like that. And so if you go use PPDM model, you're going to have 7,000 fields of just a bunch of null garbage filled in with a handful of
with joins to get any actual usable data.
Exactly.
Do I end up on PPDM?
Right. Like, that's true. And then even at that, like we still have to have loose connections, loose relationships. They can't be strict foreign keys in some of these instances. So, those steps were all taken leading up to this. And so, like, it's something people don't think about. Like, and I didn't think about it. I was like, pull the data and like, oh yeah, they're all the same. Like, no, okay, we have to actually come up with our own unified model because there are apples and oranges and pears and kumquats and bananas, and we had to make it all make sense because our end users didn't need all of the garbage from the cities done that way. I do believe there are some companies at the time who basically did that, just regurgitated the state data out, and it's better than nothing, but it wasn't very useful.
Right. For sure.
But so yeah, that I think this thing starts snowballing as you do them. It's like, okay, cool, let's get more data and let's visualize more data. Let's kind of dive into more different details. But we're still living on the map and the export side or the data. So
yeah, the map list, I think you said, right? With map and list, you had no time application. You never had time application for too much later. It was like you logged in, they logged in, and you landed on the map list. And I'm not even sure exports really existed. An API.
Yes, an API.
API thing through our mobile app. Yes, we had a mobile app.
Right. Yeah, even that was, I remember working on that mobile app at the time. Again, I had little kids and we would go to Galveston every year and spend a week. And this was actually the very first time we did it. Kylie was a baby. This is funny. We had a little condo at the Seascapes and we had her pack and play in the closet of the master of one of the bedrooms so that she could sleep in there quietly.
Yeah.
We didn't close the door and like lock her in or anything, but still, she was a baby. And we were in Galveston and just kind of hanging out with a bunch of little kids in the evening. I'm sitting there going through creating the mobile app. So it was, you're right. We did have the mobile app right then. And just iOS. Just iOS. Yeah. But I was like deep in it. I'm right because of the other aspect of rock. I was digging into it, and I loved kind of the new mobile development. And this is back before iOS came out with Swift or anything. So I was doing Objective C, which was probably better for me because I'd already done C and C++ in the past, and so it made it kind of an easier thing to do. But the same idea, like those kind of visualizations and realization, kind of being able to see all your work. Yeah, you just want to do more.
Yeah, it's like you said, the snowball effect, and you keep doing, you get more data, and then you build out the UI more, and get rid of the guns. It may put some filtering in. So now I can make it like, oh, what's Chesapeake wells look like, and that kind of thing. That's exciting.
Yeah,
things where you have the data, but you're actually being able to use it functionally,
right?
Like you would envision. So,
well, and this is funny too because we're still doing this. We're still all have our day jobs. but we were just, again, I was on vacation doing work. And, you know, my wife, Holly, was um, not used to me working on vacation stuff, but she was excited for me for what we were doing. So she was very supportive. And that's one thing I think it's another area that I think gets totally overlooked so many times. The thousands of founders. Number one, the fact that the three of us made it this far and none of us got divorced is nothing short of a miracle. Not because of us. Like, I think we all have our great dynamics in what we do, but like, I know, and over the years, I've met dozens of startup founders, and 90% of them are divorced.
Yeah.
And since they're startup at it.
Right.
And I can see why. It's so hard. And the spouses get next to no credit. And in reality, they are really the only reason we make it this far.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. They're 100% the reason. Right. And without the support, there would be no well at first. Yeah. Well
So thank this minute, Holly, Rachel, and Shanna. Thank you for enabling us for doing this. As without you, we wouldn't exist. So
yeah, awesome.
But we keep moving with building things, but I failed to necessarily mention, and we'll talk about it in the next one. We don't have a paying customer yet.
Oh yeah, there's no customer.
But we're so excited about what we're creating that we don't care. But we are still, our revenue is $0.
Yeah.
And we just keep running with it. And it's
Keep building.
you look back at that and you're like, what is wrong with us? But
Crazy.
little late.
Well,
What do you think? I think it was Charlie Munger that said something like, and how he doesn't own Tesla stock. He was like, but I never underestimate someone who overestimates themselves. And it kind of dawned on me. I think that's what we did. We overestimated ourselves. We thought we were just like on to something and it was going to be great. And we were just running with it.
yeah.
Keep
Run, like, go.
running. Just keep going. Screw it.
We had a vision. We talked about some vision.
That's sure.
We had at this point. I mean, honestly, actually, at this point, we started doing more regular meetings too. Remember, we meet at Sharky's and that kind of stuff.
Sharkies, we did.
You were right. It was during this time.
It's true. Yes, it was. This was right. And we were, we were starting to meet. We
We started divvying up tasks and states and attack.
right. We still had no revenue. That's amazing.
Still had no revenue, but
Yeah.
I guess the others, or we're paying for it.
Yeah. That one. But I will say that we had started to dip our toes in and talk to people about it by this time. I think we sat down with Charles and Gerald and them.
Yeah, you're right.
Rizwara.
Yep.
And Charles Close and Gerald Carmen. We did them and talked about it. Those are all friends of ours. And shout out to them to listen to us and give us some good feedback.
Absolutely, they were.
Yeah, it was.
I remember right before that meeting, we still had no top navigation, but that was you wanted to show something. And you're like, oh, we don't have projects. Like, it'd be cool if we had a way to share data in a data room situation. And that's like, I was like, hold on, I'll do it. And like, I think I wrote to the original version of projects in the afternoon for that meeting. And then we showed them some pinned wells because it was like, I think the wells wherever they were working at the time. Yeah. You wanted to quickly grab them and show them how they could work together.
Yeah, well, Martin worked at Rising Star and was like intimate with Louisiana data.
Oh yeah.
And so I really wanted to impress him because he's just such a dude is crazy smart. And so anyway, the meeting went really well, all things considered, but still that I think gives us more inspiration to kind of keep pushing and things like that.
Yeah.
But we definitely were working without any revenue and any guarantee of revenue, but we did feel like we were on people.
The meeting was more reassuring,
Yeah.
like, because from the prior feedback of, oh, you can't do that too, then here it's like, oh, honestly, keep going.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. They weren't even money.
No,
I think they'd keep on.
yeah,
You'll get there.
oh, this is cool. Or you might have something.
Yeah, and so this we've been on this for a little bit. So this takes us all the way to early 2012.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about when we got started to now, I mean, the very first time we uttered like the ideas that we want to do to now was like 5 years.
Yeah. So it's like the 5
Yeah. But we also, the systems, the backend systems we built at the time, we only handled a few states of data, but our backend systems were fairly robust and our data model was fairly robust.
Yeah.
And so I think what we would find over the coming years, I mean, pretty short order, we started adding a lot more data really quickly. And furthermore, I'll say this is that every time I tell you that I have this idea to show something at a meeting or a conference, and you're like, oh God, you like make it in 5 minutes. And then you wonder why I keep doing it to you. Oh, right. It's your fault. Self-induced. Yeah. It's just like, and when you're under that pressure, you can like put out. It's kind of crazy. So, but that restart, that is, um, we've been talking about takeaways and what we would do differently. This one, I don't think we necessarily talk about that because this was again just an exciting time.
I think it was completely like that whole tree, like you said, it's dawning with the days, and all of it was super exciting time for all of it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we felt like we were actually making more substantial forward progress. We were all working together, excited. We were starting to show people it was.
Yeah. And it was a good time for the industry too. Shale plays had really starting to kind of hit their stride and the industry is getting a lot of attention and it made us feel really good about what we were doing. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, the timing and everything, it looked back on that pretty fondly and what we did. So
Me too.
nice work.
17.
Next time, no, we will get into making mine. But for now, not yet. So no, that was awesome. No, the read part was cool. The ramp up was fun there. And yeah, next time we'll get into
Customers.
stay with us.
Ah.
Thanks, guys.
You want watching?